were you born? Was it a good time to be born in? Do you remember what events happened that month? The answer to that last question is most likely no, or at least it was for me. I was born in December of 1994, and obviously when I was alive at that point I had no idea what was going on in the world. The only thing I was familiar with was what the inside of my mother's stomach looked like. But what I did not know was that during that time gas was only $1.30 per gallon as opposed to the $3.60 that it is today. The total number of internet users was just 14 million. The number one TV show at the time was Seinfeld, and Billboard's number one song was Hero by Mariah Carey. A lot of good things happened during December of 1994. Like PlayStation released their first console, which changed the gaming world forever. But some not so good things happened in December of 94 as well, including the bomb that went off in New York subway just before Christmas, and the plane hijacking in France. PlayStation started off as this far-fetched idea. Back then, no one thought it would even be possible to create such an advanced 3D graphic gaming system. Sony believed otherwise and created their company PlayStation to make this goal possible. After 4 years of research and hard work, PlayStation released their first console, the PS1, to Japan on December 3, 1994. The console was a huge success and sold 100,000 units in Japan just the first weekend alone. Later on in 1995, when the console was released in the United States, it had even more success, selling about 1 million units in the first 6 months. This urged PlayStation to continue to challenge themselves, making even more advanced gaming experiences for consumers. Over time, the PlayStation brand continued to pioneer advances in gaming, including the DVD port console, the EyeToy interactive gaming system, and even 3D View for gaming. They have recently released their fourth model of their original model in '94, the PS4. December 1994 was such an important month for the Sony PlayStation brand. For them, it was a beginning, but for others, it was an end. December of '94 also held some events that were not as happy. Edward Leary was a New York man who had recently lost his job. He faced many family and medical bills that he was now unable to pay for. Unfortunately, Leary thought that there was no way out from this new pressure that he faced. On December 21st, Christmas shoppers boarding Subway Train 4 from downtown New York faced a surprise on that ride. The ground of the subway cars shook and flames shot their way after the homemade bomb that Edward Leary made went off. Fortunately, a brave man by the name of Danfield Otto came to the rescue for passengers. Otto ran to the token booth of the train and got the fire extinguisher to attempt to put out rising flames. The quick thinking of off-duty cop Danfield Otto saved the lives of dozens of people on that train. Edward Leary was later put on trial after the police found out that he had made the bomb. Shortly after, they also discovered that he was the cause of another explosion on a subway in Harlem, injuring 2 teenage boys. For his defense, Leary claimed that a combination of drugs he was on made him unaware of the consequences of bombing the train. He was found guilty and sentenced to 94 years in prison. For Edward Leary, December '94 was the last month he was a free man. This was the case for 4 others as well. It was Christmas Eve at Algiers Airport when 4 Islamist terrorists in Airbus France, as it was preparing to leave for France. The hijacking was brought on by the dilemma over the Algerian government. Demands were quickly being made by the terrorists. They wanted Algerian authorities to release the Islamic imprisoned colleagues. The authorities refused and paid the consequences for their decision. Immediately following, the terrorists executed 3 hostages. That included Algerian police officer, Vietnamese diplomat, and a French embassy cook. Under increasing pressure coming from the plane, Algerians allowed the jet to take off. Soon after takeoff, the French convinced the terrorists that they needed the land for gas, and after strong negotiating, they finally agreed. A rescue team was anxiously waiting for the plane to land. Just as they were about to board the plane, the Islamic terrorists sent a burst of gunfire at the airport's control tower, which sent the rescue team into immediate action. The terrorists were shot and killed. 3 crew members and 13 passengers were injured during this process. For the 4 hijackers, December 1994 was the last month they were alive. December '94 was filled with many happy events, like my birth and the creation of the PlayStation. It was also filled with many unfortunate memories, like the New York subway bombing and the plane hijacking. Between then and now, times aren't so different. Yes, gas prices have changed, and society's taste in music has become different, but there are good events and bad events that happen every day. Over time, we learn to make even happier memories and learn to deal with the sad ones. 1994 and 2014 are 20 years apart. In some ways, they are quite different. But overall, society as a whole has not changed within those years. Thank you.